So, Nick, do you want to explain what happened here?
Yeah, it was an interesting day yesterday. So, the funny thing is, I didn't know anything about this, so I got up yesterday and called Coach, and was going to hit on that Forbes article we just covered. But he had just finished recording a video on this right here, told me about it, and so I went and looked into it and started watching the video that knee pain dropped on it. And then later on, he ended up removing the video. And
so for those that don't know, just real quick, this individual is a former Lucasfilm employee.
Yeah.
Knee pain. He's got a YouTube channel. He made a video lambasting Lucasfilm, basically.
Yeah. Yep. He worked on the animation side. So he worked directly with Filoni and the whole crew of people over there. He was there all the way through the transition. Once Disney bought him, he was actually the only one in his department that they kept on. They fired everybody else. And so he stayed on. And so we reached out to him and was like, hey, we noticed that your video was taken down, not really sure what's going on or what happened. We'd love to have you on the show. If you kind of want to talk about, your career, your experiences there, what led to you taking basically every video on your channel down, all that sort of stuff. So, he saw that we had a live stream set up last night and chimed in there. And I was going back and forth with him on email, sent him Coach's number. Coach talked to him. He came on and basically said that he wasn't sure if he crossed a line with NDA stuff or if he might have said too much. So he just took it down. Then once his video started getting traction and everything, people were coming in there and just blowing up comments in all his other videos, like what happened, where's the video, all this sort of stuff. So then at that point he took down every video on his channel, and he's a small channel. He's only had, like, at the time, I think like 12 to 1,500 subscribers, and that was it. So So he was he came on, basically explained that Lucasfilm Legal never came after him. He just basically got nervous. Wasn't sure if he crossed the line NDA wise. It was getting a lot of attention, a lot of unintended attention that he didn't expect it to get, and that was the reason for the takedown. So yeah, he had a lot of very interesting stories and experiences there. He walked around the halls and saw George Lucas there at Lucasfilm and kind of explained his day in, day out stuff, his time there. It was a really interesting conversation. I'm gonna not give too much away here, but after we got done, he gave us some juicy tidbits he couldn't say publicly. I'll actually tell you guys about him off stream after the stream's over.
You can't tease everything about.
Yeah. But through him, I actually got in contact with somebody else that we are going to be having on the channel. I'm not going to say who it is, but this guy is
Kathleen
revolutionary. I'll just leave it at that. This guy is revolutionary.
Hey, Filoni.
No, he is a former. He is also another former employee. But anybody that knows anything about VFX and ILM and Lucasfilm and all that, going all the way back to the early 90s, will definitely know who this person is.
Well, so what was he saying then on the video that is now removed?
So he was basically just talking about how he basically knew the direction that this was going. He knew it was going to get bad. He wasn't a fan of the culture that it kind of turned into there. And he had been there for quite some time. And generally, when they when somebody leaves, quits and leaves, they always have a going away party. He didn't get a going away party or anything. I guess there was a lot of people that were upset or pissed off at him that he was leaving. Um, he talked about seeing George Lucas, talking to him in the halls. Dave Filoni 1000% knows who this guy is. He talked about them being up late nights, basically spending the night there. They built Lego sets together, had conversations. He actually pitched some Indiana Jones stuff to Filoni that Filoni took to the higher ups. They actually shot it down, and his ideas were way better than what we got with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Disaster. Uh, so and he had a great idea on how to bring Short Round back. Basically his older Short Round being an archaeologist during the Vietnam War era, all that sort of stuff. Basically Indiana Jones rescue mission thing and that sort of thing. So which was pretty cool. I much rather would have seen that movie get made. But yeah, basically he refuses to subscribe to Disney Plus. He is on board with GraphWeb, #cancel Disney Plus. He doesn't watch. Apathy's definitely sat in for him. He watches a lot of YouTube content creators and hears, about everything going on and that sort of thing. So yeah, he's not a fan, and he's as this Park Place by John F. Trent says, he was embarrassed and ashamed to have worked there, with the state that it's in now. And it goes back to what people, I saw somebody else talk about this where they're like, back when we were kids, being a Star Wars nerd was like not cool. It wasn't really something that you talked about in school. But then it got to a point to where being a Star Wars nerd was cool because like everybody loves Star Wars. And now it's gone back to, you don't want to tell anybody you're a Star Wars fan, at this point because it's so bad. But yeah, it was one of our best live streams we've ever had on the channel. We've gotten like over 72,000 views on that live stream. The video the coach put out yesterday, it's like 275,000 views or something like that at this point. So he loved coming on. He was we're staying in communication with him. He said he'd love to come back, maybe tell some more stories and some more stuff, later on in the future, kind of give his thoughts on the state of Star Wars and that sort of thing. But he's not watching. He's completely checked out.
Yeah. What do you add to that, culture? Anything?
I think it's fascinating. I mean, here's a guy that really wasn't doing any Star Wars content that all of a sudden decided just to speak his mind, and he became instantly, famous. I mean, this is a guy that, I didn't know what he did. I just would run across his videos because I'd be looking at, camera gear or tech gear or whatever. And, like one of the videos I watched of his was like over like a ball connector for a camera. I was like, oh, I need to buy that. That's months ago, right? That I'd seen this dude. So it's very strange that how like somebody that you're like going, oh man, great tech gear, stuff, right? Because he's really plain spoken. He doesn't use anything fancy. It's all basic information in his videos. You wouldn't know his background because he was just talking about the gear. So I think it's fascinating that somebody can come along and have this connection and be able to like talk about it, and they don't really realize that right now culturally they're sitting on a gold mine. So I thought, that was really a great moment for you guys, and I loved that for you.
Yeah. It was a great conversation, and he's super down to earth, cool guy. I actually showed him some of Stephanie Janisek's video of her basically calling him a dirt bag. Like this guy's not worked there since 2012. He's not worked there in like 12 years. Like, no, he didn't leave till January 2018. We got a little reaction from him on Stephanie Janisek in the KK Anon camp. Her basically trying to trash this guy's credibility and all that sort of stuff, which is laughable. I set Nate his IMDb. We know his real name, of course. We're not going to say it publicly, but he's legit.
Yeah. Well, I think what's comical about it is the fact that he's embarrassed and ashamed to work there, and the sort of culture's changed so much that he couldn't even say how he didn't like. He thought the character of Ray wasn't a particularly well-established character. It's like just getting hate for saying that in his workplace. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was very frowned upon to criticize, to criticize anything like that. He had some stories on some ideas, some like funny tidbits that he wanted to do, and people in the workplace would be like, oh, no, don't say that around George, like you could lose your job, or don't say this, or don't do that,
Right.
and that was kind of the culture there, which was very, very interesting to hear about.
Bizarre. Well, there you go. Anyway, we'll sort of stay up to date on potentially any more information which comes out from that individual. We have a super chat from Horseradish Power for $2.54, and he says, "Which is an acolyte? Whatever. As a pagan, I'll disavow it without watching, and will happily stick with Charmed, a series where the women are straight, end up having families, and is very family oriented. Well, they fight evil, much more wholesome than the acolyte." Can't. Acolyte Thursday reviews, guys. We're back with them. Acolyte episode 4 review on Thursday.